The stealthy trigger for your nighttime wake-ups might be your last sip. Those restless trips drain your energy and quietly raise your risk of groggy mornings and late-night stumbles. Stay with me for a calm, natural plan to pick and time the right evening drink so your bladder rests and your sleep deepens. I'm inviting you into a very ordinary scene. The end of a long day, the house finally quiet, a cool bedroom, and that familiar last sip before the lights go out. It seems harmless. Maybe a cozy decaf, a sparkling water with lime, or a small glass of wine from the evening unwind. Yet for many of us, those simple choices decide whether the night is peaceful or interrupted. I've been there, counting ceiling cracks at 2:17 a.m., wishing I hadn't filled that tall mug. That's the heart of our topic. The best and worst nighttime drinks for people dealing with nocturia, the pattern of waking to urinate after you've fallen asleep. My goal here is straightforward. Keep you fully informed, fully empowered, and, bit by bit, sleeping longer stretches with fewer disruptions. Right up front, I want to make a promise. If you stay with me through this journey, I'll share a practical bonus at the end. A simple, 2-part framework to test your ideal evening drink safely, plus a gentle, customizable bedtime recipe with exact amounts. That way you can personalize what you drink without guessing. I'll guide you step by step because the how matters as much as the what, and a small misstep, like a serving that's too big or a temperature that irritates your stomach, can make your night harder than it needs to be. Let's set the stage with something empowering. Nocturia has many possible influences: medications, how much you drink late in the day, caffeine and alcohol timing, the acidity or carbonation of your beverage, even hidden sweeteners. None of these details are meant to scare you. They're levers we can adjust calmly and logically. Think of it like tuning a guitar. A quarter turn on one string changes the entire chord. For example, a common North American habit is the oversized evening mug. A 1620 Oz decaf can still contain some caffeine and, more importantly, a lot of fluid. That combination nudges your bladder to wake you, even if you've been careful all day. Another example is the bubbly can by the bed, sparkling water with citrus. It's refreshing, yes, but carbonation and acids can irritate a sensitive bladder, and that tingle you enjoy on your tongue isn't always friendly at night. Here's a small, surprising truth I learned by tracking my own evenings like a mini science project. Timing changes everything. People often focus on the drink itself, milk, tea, water, or a herbal infusion, and forget that a good choice at the wrong time can still disrupt your sleep. An innocent sports drink after a late gym session, a sweet hot chocolate during a movie, or a kombucha you kept in the fridge just in case can stack up. These choices are part of North American routines many of us barely question because they're comforting and convenient. Yet the body remembers. It prioritizes balance, and late liquids, caffeine traces, alcohol rebounds, acids, and sweeteners are all little nudges that push your bladder to steal minutes from your sleep cycle. I also want to keep our conversation respectful and safe. If nocturia shows up alongside burning, blood in the urine, swelling in your legs, intense thirst, or if you're getting up multiple times every night, it's wise to speak with a qualified professional. What I share here is educational, evidence-informed guidance for everyday decisions, the kind of choices we can change tonight without turning our lives upside down. We'll talk plainly about patterns that show up again and again, how to limit late-day volume without feeling parched, how to spot stealth caffeine and alcohol effects, and how to choose drinks that are gentler on the bladder lining. To spark momentum, try one small action today. Pour your evening beverage into a smaller cup, about 4 to 5 ounces, and finish it 2 to 3 hours before bed. That single shift respects your body's timing and reduces the chance of a nighttime wake-up. If you tend to sip while streaming a show, keep a measured cup nearby, rather than a bottomless glass. Notice how you feel. Do you fall asleep faster? Do you sleep a little longer before the first bathroom trip? Jot it down. Small data is powerful. Another practical tweak is to rethink the evening decaf. Not all decaf is the same, and many cafe and home varieties still carry a modest dose of caffeine. If you love the ritual, consider a naturally caffeine-free alternative in a smaller portion. Look at labels on teas, canned coffees, chocolate mixes, and even energy water. Words like green tea extract, mate, or guarana belong squarely in the daytime if nocturia is bothering you. I'll also ask you to consider carbonation and acidity at night. Sparkling waters, colas, diet or regular, citrus-heavy drinks, and kombucha are popular across North America and can be great in the afternoon. But close to bedtime, they might irritate your bladder or add fluid volume you don't need. If you enjoy a little flavor without sugar, try infusing plain water earlier in the day with a slice of cucumber or a sprig of mint, then switching to uncarbonated, low-acid sips in the evening. It's important to emphasize that we don't need to fear our beverages. The point is to match the drink, the amount, and the timing to your body's nighttime needs. That's a hopeful message because every choice is adjustable. And remember the bonus I promised. We'll build a simple way to test what actually works for you, along with a gentle recipe you can prepare without confusion. I'll include exact amounts so you're never left guessing. To close this part, I want you to feel both calm and curious. Tonight, choose a smaller cup. Finish it earlier and scan labels for stealth caffeine or sweeteners. Keep your phone or a small notebook by the bed to note how many times you wake and when. These are the first bricks in a pathway to better nights. The next tip is one of the most important, and ignoring it won't just limit your results. It may also lead to unwanted side effects, like more fragmented sleep or digestive discomfort. I'll explain it clearly so you can stay safe and get the most benefit. You've already taken a meaningful first step by shrinking the evening cup and moving it earlier. Let's build on that momentum by shining a calm, honest light on the usual suspects, the drinks that seem friendly at night but quietly push your bladder to wake you. This isn't about fear or perfection. It's about learning which levers matter most and how to adjust them without losing comfort or pleasure. Start with caffeine's shadow. Many people are surprised to learn that decaf doesn't mean zero. A large cafe-style serving can contain enough residual caffeine to nudge your bladder and lighten sleep, especially when paired with a big fluid volume. The same goes for black tea, green tea, yerba mate, and cocoa-based drinks like hot chocolate, which carry caffeine and related stimulants. If you love the ritual of a warm cup, consider a naturally caffeine-free alternative in a smaller portion. Read packaging carefully. Some herbal blends sneak in green tea or energy extracts. When in doubt, keep daytime for stimulation and allow the evening to be quiet. Alcohol deserves a measured word. That nightcap, beer during a game, a generous pour of wine at a late dinner, or a bourbon while folding laundry can feel relaxing at first. But alcohol alters fluid balance, fragments sleep, and may increase nighttime urine production for some people. It also changes how your sleep cycles flow, which can make awakenings more likely. For those managing nocturia, it helps to keep alcoholic drinks to earlier hours, limit the amount, or, on nights when sleep matters most, skip them entirely. That's not a moral judgment. It's a practical choice to protect your rest. Now, let's talk about fizz and acid. Carbonation is popular across North America. Sparkling water, soda, seltzers with fruit essence, and kombucha. The bubbles can be refreshing, but for sensitive bladders, carbon dioxide and acidity may be irritating. Add citrus, and you compound the effect. This doesn't mean you can never enjoy these beverages. It means timing and portion matter. Save them for daytime, and choose still, low-acid options later on. If you want a hint of flavor at night, think mint, or a bare slice of cucumber earlier in the afternoon so you can switch to plain. Still sips in the evening. Sweetness can also complicate things. High-sugar drinks, sweet tea, chocolate milk, milkshakes, sports drinks, and even some hydration mixes can drive thirst and add unnecessary volume. On the other end of the spectrum, some people notice that artificial sweeteners found in many diet sodas, flavored waters, and sugar-free mixes are bladder irritants. Reactions vary, so the key is to observe your own pattern. If you wake more often on nights, you choose very sweet or artificially sweetened beverages. Try removing them from your evening routine for a week and track the difference. Here's a friendly way to put this into practice without feeling deprived. The mug swap. Take your usual nighttime drink and trade the container for a much smaller one, about 4 or 5 ounces, and set a firm cutoff 2 to 3 hours before bed. If your tradition is a cafe-style decaf, switch to a naturally caffeine-free herbal option in the same small portion. If you crave fizz, enjoy it with lunch and use the evening for still water or a gentle alternative. If you enjoy a glass of wine with dinner, keep it modest and earlier, and drink water with the meal to avoid sipping late into the night. The goal is not to eliminate joy. It's to align pleasure with physiology so your bladder stays calmer while you sleep. Label reading helps. Look for terms like green tea, extract, mate, guarana, and kola nut. Check serving sizes. Many bottles list nutrients per 8 ounces while the container holds 16 or 20. If you find yourself pouring refills from a family-sized jug of iced tea or soda, portion your evening serving once and put the container away. North American kitchens often have oversized glassware. Choosing a smaller cup is a subtle but powerful cue. Another gentle adjustment is to avoid highly acidic mixers at night. Lemon, lime, cranberry, and vinegar-based drinks can be fine earlier in the day, but may not be ideal close to bedtime for sensitive bladders. If you do include them, keep the amounts small and earlier, and balance them with food so they're not landing on an empty stomach. Pay attention to how your body responds. No two bodies are identical, and your observations drive the best decisions. I want to pause for a moment to emphasize safety and self-awareness. If you're managing chronic conditions, taking diuretics or other medications, or noticing pain, burning, fever, or blood in your urine, it's important to talk with a qualified professional. The guidance here is educational and rooted in everyday habits, the things you can change tonight. Your health history matters, and personalized advice will always be the gold standard. Let's gather the insights so far into concrete action for tonight. Choose a small cup, aim for naturally caffeine-free and still rather than fizzy, and move any alcohol or highly acidic choices to earlier hours, or skip them when sleep is a priority. Write down what you drink, how much, and what time you finish. Then note when you first wake. In a few evenings, patterns will emerge, and that's your roadmap. This is not about perfection. It's about stacking small advantages in your favor. If you've ever felt frustrated by nighttime awakenings, remember that progress often arrives quietly. 1 fewer trip, 10 extra minutes of deep rest, a less groggy morning. That's what we're building. Stay with the process. The next tip is one of the most important, and ignoring it won't just limit your results. It may also lead to unwanted side effects, like more fragmented sleep or digestive discomfort. I'll explain it clearly so you can stay safe and get the most benefit. You've cleared the first hurdles with confidence. Smaller evening portions, calmer ingredients, and earlier cutoffs. Now we refine the details that quietly make or break your results. The preparation itself. Some nighttime drinks behave like almost heroes. They can support steadier sleep, but only if you get the dose, dilution, temperature, and timing right. A few tweaks turn them from helpful to disruptive, and the difference is often just a couple of ounces or a few minutes on the clock. Let's start with the idea of the little cup. North American kitchens love oversized mugs and tall tumblers, and we tend to fill whatever vessel we choose. The little cup flips that script. Pour 4 to 5 ounces and treat it as a complete serving, not a warm-up. Why so small? Your bladder is a vigilant guardian at night. A modest volume gives comfort without asking it to wake you. It's a practical compromise that protects sleep while preserving the ritual many of us value at the end of the day. Consider warm milk or its cousins. If you tolerate dairy, lactose-free milk in a small portion can feel soothing. If you prefer plant-based, unsweetened oat milk is a gentle alternative. The keys are temperature and simplicity. Warm, not hot, around the temperature of a comfortably warm bath, so it relaxes without irritating your stomach. Skip sugars, syrups, and cinnamon-heavy mixes at this hour. Sweetness can drive thirst for some people, and a dash too much spice can cause reflux, which in turn may fragment sleep. Read labels. Many popular U.S. plant milks include added sugar, gums, and flavorings. Choose an unsweetened carton with the shortest ingredient list you can find. Now to the herbs that often get called sleepy without much nuance. Chamomile and lemon balm, Melissa officinalis, belong to the almost hero group, and preparation matters. Start with a light infusion. About 1 rounded teaspoon of dried herb per cup of hot water, steeped 5 to 7 minutes, then pour only 4 ounces for the evening serving. In practice, that means you can brew a standard cup, store the extra for the next evening in the refrigerator, and rewarm gently. Avoid boiling the herbs. A near boil is enough. If you're sensitive to ragweed, use caution with chamomile. If you have a thyroid condition or take sedatives, discuss lemon balm with a professional before making it a routine. Safety is not a footnote. It's the foundation of any habit you keep. Cocoa and decaf coffee can look friendly at night, but they illustrate how almost heroes become tricksters. Cocoa contains caffeine and other stimulants, and cafe-style decaf still carries a residual dose, plus both are often served in large volumes or sweetened. If you value the cozy ritual, keep it earlier in the evening, shrink the serving, and consider a naturally caffeine-free alternative when sleep is a priority. Your goal is steady calm, not perfect deprivation. Acidity and bubbles deserve a second look in preparation. Sparkling water with a citrus wedge is a classic North American nightcap, and kombucha lives in many fridges, waiting for a quiet moment. For some, carbonation and acid irritate the bladder lining just enough to prompt a wake-up. If you love these drinks, enjoy them at lunch and switch to still, low-acid choices later. Preparation also means what you leave out. Skip the lemon slice, avoid vinegar-based tonics, and keep mixers simple. There's a practical rhythm that ties these details together. Think timing, then serving, then composition. 2 to 3 hours before sleep, pour the little cup. Choose a gentle base, unsweetened oat milk, lactose-free milk, or a light herbal infusion. Keep spices light or absent. Sip slowly. Then let your body settle. If you feel thirsty closer to bedtime, take 1 or 2 slow sips of plain, still water, rather than refilling the cup. This isn't about perfection. It's about reducing friction so your bladder doesn't need to intervene. Let me share a small experiment you can run this week without changing your entire routine. Pick exactly 1 almost hero and keep every other variable steady. For 2 nights, try warm, unsweetened oat milk at about 120-150 ml, no added sugar, finished 2 to 3 hours before sleep. Write down when you drank it, how long you slept before the first bathroom trip, and how you felt in the morning. For the next 2 nights, switch to a light lemon balm infusion with the same portion and timing. Compare your notes. You're not chasing miracles. You're learning your body's preferences with kindness and precision. A word on temperature. Scalding drinks can feel cozy in the moment but irritate the throat or stomach, and cold drinks may cause a subtle chill that makes some people restless. Aim for pleasantly warm. That single choice, neither too hot nor cold, reduces surprises later in the night. As you refine, be mindful of ingredients that sometimes sneak into healthy evening blends. Cacao nibs, green tea extract, yerba mate, guarana, and concentrated fruit syrups. These are daytime players if nocturia is on your radar. Also watch for artificial sweeteners in sugar-free hot cocoa mixes and flavored plant milks. Some people notice increased bladder sensitivity with them at night. Your label is a map. Follow it. With a few nights of attentive practice, you'll likely spot a pattern. Smaller, simpler, and earlier tends to feel better. That's progress you can build on. Keep the tone compassionate and curious. Judgment is not a useful ingredient in any nighttime routine. The aim is comfort and consistency, not rigid rules. To wrap up, your action plan is clear. Use the little cup, warm gently, keep the recipe simple, and test 1 almost hero at a time while tracking how you feel. Respect your unique responses and consult a professional if you notice pain, burning, blood in the urine, fever, swelling, or if you take medications that affect fluid balance. The next tip is one of the most important, and ignoring it won't just limit your results. It may also lead to unwanted side effects, like unnecessary awakenings or digestive discomfort. I'll lay it out simply so you can stay safe and get the full benefit. You've learned how small choices, portion size, dilution, and timing, turn almost hero drinks into steady allies. Let's spotlight options that are simple, testable, and friendly to the bladder for many people when used with care. The goal here isn't to crown a universal champion. It's to help you build a short list of trustworthy choices you can rotate based on taste, tolerance, and what your evening holds. Begin with stillness. Plain, still water in a tiny portion can be surprisingly effective when thirst is the only problem. Sip 2 to 3 mouthfuls, not a full glass, and close the kitchen. If your mouth often feels dry at night, consider daytime solutions: a reusable bottle at your desk, a pinch of sea salt on food rather than in water, or a humidifier in winter, so you aren't playing catch-up after sunset. This small shift keeps nighttime about rest rather than rehydration. Next, the gentle milks. Warm, unsweetened oat milk is widely available in North American groceries and cafes, and lactose-free dairy milk is equally common. Both can feel soothing when kept simple and small. Heat to comfortably warm, no simmering, and pour 4-5 ounces. Skip sweeteners and heavy spices. If you're sensitive to gums or additives, look for a short ingredient list. Many shelf-stable cartons include thickeners, so the refrigerated versions may suit you better. If you notice bloating with dairy or oats, switch to the other option or pause and consult a professional. Light herbal infusions belong on your short list. Lemon balm, Melissa officinalis, is a calm, approachable choice for many. Use a rounded teaspoon of the dried herb per cup of hot water, steep 5 to 7 minutes, then pour only 4 ounces for your evening portion and refrigerate the rest for tomorrow. Rewarm gently. No boiling. Chamomile can also be pleasant, with the usual caution for people sensitive to ragweed and the reminder that a mild brew is the right target at night. Keep blends clean. Avoid mixes that sneak in green tea, yerba mate, or energy botanicals. For those who tolerate a touch of fruit acidity, diluted tart cherry can be explored thoughtfully. Start small. 1 to 2 tablespoons of concentrate diluted in plain water at a 1.3 ratio, totaling no more than 4 ounces, and finish it a full 3 hours before bed. Many concentrates contain natural sugars. Measure carefully and skip this option if you find that acids or sugars irritate your bladder or reflux. Your notes will tell the truth after a few evenings. A practical decision guide can shrink confusion. If you crave warmth and creaminess and tolerate dairy, lactose-free milk, 4 to 5 Oz, warm and unsweetened. If you prefer plant-based and mild flavor, unsweetened oat milk, 4 to 5 Oz, warm and unsweetened. If you want a light, clean profile, lemon balm infusion, 4 Oz, lightly brewed. If you only need to soothe a dry mouth, 2 or 3 slow sips of still water and stop there. If you're experimenting with a subtle fruit note and tolerate gentle acidity, diluted tart cherry, small and early. The secret running through all of these is restraint. Portion, not perfection, is your power lever at night. A small serving that you truly enjoy is easier to maintain than an ideal you resent. Place a small cup near the kettle or microwave so the right choice is the easiest one. If you live in a household that loves big restaurant-style glasses, set a personal rule. In the evening, only the small cup leaves the cabinet. Tiny environmental tweaks lead to bigger sleep wins. Because safety matters, a few reminders are essential. If you're pregnant or nursing, have chronic conditions, take diuretics or sedatives, or notice pain, burning, fever, swelling, or blood in your urine, speak with a qualified professional for personalized guidance. Herbal infusions are not one size fits all. Lemon balm may not suit every thyroid condition. Chamomile can trigger allergies in some. Your health history matters more than any general list. Let's shape this into an easy plan for tonight. Choose one ally based on your preferences and tolerance. Pour the small serving and set a cutoff 2 to 3 hours before sleep. Keep your evening free of hidden caffeine and alcohol. Write down what you chose, the exact amount, and the time you finished. When you wake in the morning, record how long you slept before your first bathroom trip and how you felt. Treat your notes like a compass, not a scorecard. The trend, fewer awakenings, a steadier mood, a clearer morning, is what counts. Remember, your evenings are not a test of willpower. They're an opportunity to be kind to your future self. When you combine a short list of allies with consistent portions and timing, you create a routine that quietly supports your bladder and your sleep. Then you get to wake up to a day that starts smoother, less hurried, more present. To close, keep your list simple, your cup small, and your timing early. Rotate choices as needed and listen to your body's feedback. If something irritates your bladder or digestion, scale it back or switch lanes. You're learning with purpose, and that's enough. The next tip is one of the most important, and ignoring it won't just limit your results. It may also lead to unwanted side effects like unnecessary awakenings or digestive discomfort. I'll explain it plainly so you can stay safe and gain the full benefit. You've built a smarter evening routine, smaller servings, gentler ingredients, fewer surprises. Now let's talk about the ingredient most people forget to measure, the clock. Time has chemistry. It decides whether a perfectly reasonable drink becomes a quiet ally or a midnight nudge. I learned this the hard way on a week of late dinners, sports replays, and bottomless refills at a family restaurant. The drinks weren't extreme. The timing was. Here's the simple idea that changes everything. Your bladder prefers long, peaceful stretches. When fluids arrive late, even in modest amounts, they compete with that goal. So we'll design a rhythm that respects your biology while staying realistic about North American habits. Free refills, dessert coffees, tall iced teas, and streaming marathons that make minutes disappear. Adopt a 3-part cadence. First, front-load hydration during the day. Keep a bottle nearby in the morning and early afternoon so your body is comfortably supplied before sunset. Second, taper early in the evening. Instead of sipping constantly after dinner, choose one deliberate small serving, 4-5 ounces, 2 to 3 hours before sleep, then close the kitchen. Third, protect the last hour. That's your quiet zone. No refills, no fizzy sips, no just a little more. Your bladder will thank you by waking you less. A concrete guideline helps. Think of a 2-1-0 structure. 2 hours before sleep, you're done with free-flow fluids. 1 small serving, if needed, lands there. 0 caffeine and alcohol across the final 6 hours for most people, because both can nudge urine production and disrupt sleep architecture. If an evening celebration is on the calendar, shift earlier and keep portions modest. This isn't about saying no to life. It's about saying yes to better nights. Let's troubleshoot common scenarios. If you train after work and feel thirsty, hydrate right after the workout and with dinner, then start the taper. If you love a glass of wine with a late meal, choose a smaller pour and pair it with water during the meal, not after. If you enjoy sparkling water with lime while watching a show, move it to the afternoon and replace the nighttime habit with still water or a gentle warm option, again in the little cup. Build anchors that make the timing automatic. Put a sticky note on the refrigerator that reads, "Last call" at your planned cutoff time. Set a silent phone reminder to start your wind-down routine. Keep only small cups accessible after dinner. When you make the right choice frictionless, you don't need heroic discipline. There's also a bathroom rhythm that helps. Void, relax, and void again. It's simple. Visit the bathroom during your wind-down. Then, after 15 minutes of calm, brushing teeth, dimming lights, go again. This creates a longer runway for sleep. If you often wake with a sense that you almost emptied your bladder earlier, this routine can be a game changer. Pay attention to temperature and environment. A cooler bedroom, without being chilly, a consistent lights-out time, and screens dimmed an hour before bed all support steadier sleep, which in turn helps you resist casual sipping. Many people discover that it wasn't thirst driving late drinks. It was habit and light exposure. As you dim your environment, you dim the urge to refill. Shift workers and late diners are not excluded from this approach. Slide the entire schedule to fit your reality. Your evening is the 2 to 3 hours before your main sleep, whenever that happens. Front load before your shift, taper toward its end, and use the little cup in your wind down. The principle is portable. Now, let's make the timing visible. Create a simple note on your phone with 3 lines: what you drank, how much, and the time you finished. Under that, write the time you first woke to use the bathroom. Do this for a few days. Patterns will emerge. You might see a direct link between a late top-off and a 2 a.m. wake-up. Once you spot the link, it's much easier to say not tonight to that extra sip. Here's a helpful reframe. The point is not to be thirsty at night. The point is to be adequately hydrated earlier. If your mouth feels dry at bedtime, look upstream. Was the air dry today? Did you skimp on water at lunchtime? Would a small tweak, like a pinch more salt on dinner food, not in your water, make you feel balanced without chugging at 9 p.m.? Solve the daytime problems in the day so the night can be quiet. A word on expectations. Some people notice improvement within a couple of nights. For others, it takes a week to feel the full effect. Your bladder and sleep-wake cycles appreciate consistency. Keep the rhythm, even on weekends. You're not chasing perfection. You're building a routine that reduces friction. Safety matters. If nocturia comes with pain, burning, fever, swelling, blood in the urine, or if you're taking diuretics or have conditions that affect fluids, speak with a qualified professional. What we're doing here is educational and focused on everyday habits. Personalized guidance is always wise when something feels off. Mini revelation time. For many people, the number of awakenings drops more from timing than from the specific beverage choice. That's good news. You can keep a favorite night drink in your life as long as the clock is your partner. Respect the 2-1-0 cadence, protect the final hour, and use the little cup like a compass. To close, commit to one change tonight. Set your cutoff time and honor it. Prepare your small serving 2 to 3 hours before sleep. Then, let the evening be calm. Track your first wake time and compare it to yesterday. Progress shows up quietly, an extra 20 minutes here, a smoother morning there. The next tip is one of the most important, and ignoring it won't just limit your results, it may also lead to unwanted side effects like unnecessary awakenings or digestive discomfort. I'll explain it with care so you stay safe and get the full benefit. You've built a routine that respects portion, preparation, and time. Now I'll deliver what I promised from the beginning: a clear, gentle recipe you can prepare without confusion, and a simple 48-hour map to find your personal evening champion. The goal is not to impress your taste buds for 5 minutes. It's to give your bladder a quiet night while keeping you comfortable and relaxed. Let's start with the core recipe, the one I reach for when sleep matters and I want minimal surprises. Measure 150 milliliters, or about half a cup plus a splash, of unsweetened oat milk. Pour it into a small saucepan or microwave-safe cup. Warm it until it is pleasantly warm to the touch. Think 50-60 degrees C, or the temperature of a comfortable bath. Don't simmer and don't scald. If you like, add 1/8 of a teaspoon of pure vanilla extract. No sugar, no syrups, and skip cinnamon or cocoa tonight because both can invite reflux or subtle stimulation in some people. Pour the drink into your smallest cup, sip slowly, and finish it 2 to 3 hours before sleep. Then stop. No refills. Why this works for many people: the portion is small, the base is gentle, and the flavor is calm. Oat milk without added sugar keeps the profile steady. The warm temperature helps you feel settled without irritating your stomach. And by finishing earlier, you give your body time to balance fluids before the night stretch begins. If oats don't suit you, use lactose-free dairy milk with the same volume and steps. Keep the method identical so you can compare results fairly. If you prefer something lighter, here's a careful herbal option. Take 1 rounded teaspoon of dried lemon balm, Melissa officinalis, and place it in a cup. Heat water to just below boiling, about 90 degrees C. Pour over the herb, cover, and steep for 5 to 7 minutes. Strain, then pour only 120 milliliters, 4 ounces, into your small cup for tonight. Store the remainder in the refrigerator for tomorrow. Rewarm gently. Don't boil the infusion. Keep the flavor clean. No honey, no lemon, no blends that sneak in green tea or energy ingredients. This mild preparation keeps the herb supportive rather than overwhelming. If you have thyroid concerns, take sedatives, are pregnant or nursing, or are unsure about interactions, speak with a professional before making lemon balm a habit. For those curious about a subtle fruit note, diluted tart cherry can be explored with caution. Measure 1 to 2 tablespoons of concentrate, dilute it at a 1-to-3 ratio with still water, and cap the total at 4 ounces. Drink it 3 hours before sleep and watch for any signs of reflux or bladder sensitivity. Many concentrates include natural sugars, That's why the portion and timing are strict. If acidity bothers you, skip this option and return to the core recipe. Now, the promised 48-hour map. Simple, practical, and repeatable. You will test 2 nights at a time to smooth out random noise. On nights 1 and 2, prepare the warm oat milk or lactose-free milk exactly as described. 150 milliliters, optional tiny splash of vanilla, finished 2 to 3 hours before sleep. Note the time you drank it, the time you went to bed, and the time of your first bathroom wake-up. On nights 3 and 4, switch to the light lemon balm infusion. 120 milliliters only, same timing. On nights 5 and 6, practice the 2-sip strategy. If you feel dry at bedtime, take 2 slow sips of still water and stop there. No other night beverage. If you tolerate gentle acidity and want to test it, nights 7 and 8 can be the diluted tart cherry trial, keeping to the small portion and early cutoff. Throughout the map, change nothing else about your evening routine if you can help it. You're giving each option a fair chance. When you wake in the morning, write down how long you slept before the first bathroom trip, how easy it was to fall back asleep, and how you felt upon waking. After a week, you'll likely see a clear front-runner. Keep that option as your default and rotate others occasionally so you don't get bored. The point is not to crown a miracle drink. It's to build a short list that works for your biology and your life. On challenging nights, travel, late dinners, big family gatherings, use a fail-safe. Protect the schedule more than the flavor. That means finishing whatever you choose earlier, using the little cup, and practicing the double void. Bathroom, relax 15 minutes, bathroom again. If you accidentally sip late, don't stack another drink trying to compensate. Pause, reset, and give your body a quieter runway. Because safety belongs at the center, let's be explicit. If nocturia comes with pain, burning, fever, swelling, blood in your urine, intense thirst, or if you're on medications that affect fluid balance, speak with a qualified professional for personalized guidance. Herbal choices are not one-size-fits-all. Lemon balm can interact for some people. Chamomile can trigger allergies. If you live with diabetes, be mindful of sugars and concentrates. Pregnancy, nursing, prostate concerns, sleep apnea. These are moments to get tailored advice rather than rely solely on general routines. I want to end with encouragement. Better nights are built from small, repeatable wins. A tiny cup, a clear method, and a smart clock can return stretches of uninterrupted sleep you thought were gone. When you wake with more energy, you make steadier choices all day. Hydration earlier, meals that feel good, movement that clears your mind. That momentum can change how you feel in the moments that matter most. If this guidance helps you, share it with someone who needs a calmer night. Leave a like so this message reaches more people, and subscribe to stay connected as we keep learning together. Your notes, your observations, and your questions make this community stronger and wiser. The next tip is one of the most important, and ignoring it won't just limit your results. It may also lead to unwanted side effects like unnecessary awakenings or digestive discomfort. I'll present it clearly so you can stay safe and benefit fully.